Creation. Memory is what brings us all through this evolutionary chain. It is how we grow, adapt, and thrive, David says to himself. This race that we have created against our electronic counterparts has come to the basis that they are superior. Too many people have succumbed to them. We must complete what we have in store for the walking wires, I say in a soft whisper to David. He's right. We must destroy them as soon as possible. We were better off without them. The piles of junk they have created and their ideals of a better future. Pieces of putrid shit, all of them. They should die as they were created. David sticks a finger into the air to then use his lips and a shushing sound to quiet the atmosphere. Be rational, the both of you. We don't need those machines. We need ourselves to breach the chain of evolution with one simple step. My very own son, Carter. David then looks around the room in search of a picture of his son. The room is dimly lit, only to have a single light source, a stretch table, bloody surgery tools, and a orb of a glow. Distracted by the glow, David picks it up with his hands. Science is such a beautiful thing, my own creation, to strengthen the brain of an ordinary human. We have won. David begins to chuckle to himself as he begins to cough up blood. Coughing into his hands, he releases them to see a splat of blackened blood across his gloves. You have been working on this for the past 3 days. If you don't take a break, you will die along with your son. I know this. I'm not stepping another foot out there until my son has done what I have envisioned, David yells into the air. Then he is your slave, yet he wants this for the success of you and you only. Save his soul, David, unless you want to take the plunge with him. This world has been rotting with evil since 2022. It's been 10 years since the invention of these sentient machines. If I die now, then it will all be in vain. Help me without hurting me, you two, David says in a whimper. Then you must help us in the same way, David. Go outside for at least one piece of the day. I don't want you to die from your own stubbornness, I say to David. Fine. I have an idea then, David says with a smile. Putting on a new pair of gloves, he grabs his tools and focuses the light onto Carter's skull. The body of Carter has already become cold, yet the flesh of it is not to rot nor moved out of place. It is as if he is only sleeping in eternal peace. Grabbing the tweezers, David peels back the skin, the flesh, and then the skull to then reach the entry point of the brain. It moves as if it's still alive. Even in perfect balance, the brain shifts and changes to readjust to its new opening. As David looks to his left, he grabs the orb of orange glow to then stick the scalpel into the orb itself. To try his best to split apart the orb, it splits with many webbings that connects either side from coming apart. Centering the cut open orb on the tool table to then grab his son's fingers to look at his fingernails. Searching within his tool table, he finds a pair of nail clippings to then clip his son's nails. Gathering them as they naturally fly off after being cut, David collects most of the nails to then drop them in the orange orb. The orb then closes, making the perfect sphere. As David looks deeper into the orb, he can see the nails swimming in the orb until they then disappear into nothingness. Perfect! Such delicate perfection, David says as he grabs the forceps to pull apart the brain and reaching the middle. David sees the strain to which he has been working on. The hippocampus, the gland of which the brain stores the memory of long and short-term memories. This has been holding us back all these years, to be the primitive now to a collective genius. David grabs the orb to his right to then hover over the hole in Carter's head. Twisting and squeezing the orb, it becomes nothing but a liquid, seeping into the brain of David's son. The body begins to twitch and writhe in continuous movement, moving so much that he falls off the stretcher bed as his mouth is wide open from the shock. A few moments of shaking go by until the body once again falls limp towards the ground. To David's nose, it begins to smell fresh like a flower bed, a beautiful fragrance to what has come out of the situation. The smell then begins to change into another piece of scent, from flowers to chocolate to then spaghetti. David's eyes began to tear up as the scent was the last of which Carter ate before he died of an unknown metallic virus that shuts down his insides. David quickly grabs Carter to then put him back upon the stretcher bed. You'll be okay, son. Please just stay still. I need you for this. Holding Carter down, David then puts his tools back within the brain of Carter to seal everything up. Looking back within the hole of the brain, the orange glow has fused with Carter's body. Grabbing the forceps, David tries to reseal everything that he had just opened. Suddenly, a fast hand grips David's fingers, crushing them together. It was Carter. He could not speak, yet to only look within the eyes of his father. Grunting as if he wanted to speak to his father. Let's go, son. You're safe now. You're in my care. In a human's care, not a machine. Carter could not smile on his response, only nodded to what David had said. Looking around before both of them leave, David looks at the heart monitor, pulse, and regulators to keep Carter in place. I'm truly a hypocrite, aren't I? David says to nobody. Smiling within the light and darkness, David and Carter leave the room to its own despair. As David has personally left behind a mental piece of himself, his inner demons now left to wait to the next opportunity of depression. Never to truly die, but to forever watch over the shoulder of the one that has the chance of falling once again. The end. Releasing David's fingers, Carter then jerks his head to the outside door, grunting as if he wanted to speak to his father.
I got the fly swatter.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean, that's one way for a fly swatter to hit. I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah. I mean, did you at least get it?
No, it flew off.
Oh.
I tried to catch it while it was like flying away, and then I hit you.
Man, that hurt.
I'm sorry.
I gotta continue with my work.
Yeah.
Gee. Yeah. Don't hit me again.
It's right there. Nope.
I wonder if a fly knows that, like...
It bent the fly.
I wonder if a fly knows that, like, if it recognizes the fly swatter, so it intentionally goes on other people.
That'd be funny.
That'd be
Where'd it
hilarious.
go?
Swoop.
Well, I have a fly swatter now in case it comes back.
There you go. Okay. Grunting.